Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
We at WOCA recognize the importance of voting. That's why we're offering all the candidates an opportunity to come on the air and explain why they feel you should cast your valuable vote for them. On Tuesday, August 24th from 10:30 to 11 a.m., our guests will be Rusty Juergens, Jay Musley, and Ty Schlichter, candidates for the office of District 3, Ocala City Council. This information is brought to you by WOCA The Source in hopes that you will vote and that this will help in making your decision come September 21st.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talk. Tom Schmitz on Tuesday. Today with District 3, the incumbent Jay Musley, Ty Schlichter, and Rusty Juergens are all in studio joining us. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
What we'll do is we'll start with each of you giving a short introduction of who you are and why you're running for office, and we'll start with the incumbent, Jay Musley.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. Appreciate the time you're spending with us today on the radio. I am Jay Musley. I'm running for re-election to City Council. I've served on the council for 9 years after having served on our city code board for 16 years. Lifelong resident of Ocala. I've been married to my wife Sigrid for 27 years, and we have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. Been a banker for 43 years and currently work for South State Bank, which is the former Center State Bank on Silver Springs Boulevard. The reason I'm running for this office is to continue to serve the city. It's a wonderful place to live and to raise a family, and I'm looking forward to serving another 4 years on City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ty Schlichter, your turn, please.
Thank you, Tom. So I graduated from Forest High School here in Ocala, and then I went on to the University of Florida and got my bachelor's in science and electrical engineering. Came straight back to Ocala and started working in the construction industry at Central Florida Electric. I'm now an owner and run the daily operations of this company. We have about 100 employees and 2 different office locations, so I think that makes me uniquely qualified. I deal with contracts and labor negotiations, insurance, and unfortunately, sometimes attorneys, but it brings a lot of experience to the position. I also have 4 kids and a wife in the community that tie me closely to it. They're involved in local schools and sports, And I think that gives me a real interesting perspective on today's Ocala. So Ty Schlichter for City Council District 3.
Thank you, Ty. Rusty, your turn.
All right, thank you, Tom, and good morning to everybody out there. My name is Rusty Jurgens, running for District 3. A little bit of history. Some of you probably heard this a time or two before. I ran probably 15 years ago, which started this, and I didn't win, which was okay. You know, it was a great race, and out of that came something just wonderful, is where I got appointed to the Board of Adjustment. The Board of Adjustment is one of the last stops past all the other boards in the city. Even it can override City Council, and then if their people are still opposed to whatever their answer is, they have to go to state for it. But we haven't had that issue before. So the past 15 years, I've learned a lot about how the city works, and gives me a good perspective on that. Also to that, I've been on other boards. I was with the Church Without Walls, with the Youth at Risk. The Downtown Business Alliance is something that's wonderful.
We need to wrap it up, please, sir.
Okay. And anyway, thank you very much. Please vote for Rusty Jurgens, District 3.
I'm just going to jump right into it. Nobody's been giving questions here. Y'all just showed up on your own accord, and I appreciate each one of you being here. Yesterday, one of the candidates was a little tied up, couldn't make it. I'm to understand that I'm going to have a candidate that won't be here another day this week, and I'll deal with that when that comes up. But I want to thank all three of y'all for taking time out of your day to come here and join me on the radio. We'll start, Jay, with you. First question to you. A lot of people have come to City Council recently about development and how they don't want it in their backyard. And people are okay with progress, but they don't want it in their backyard. If you return to council, how will you deal with the situation of progress, but with the people that say we like progress, just not in our backyard? How do you deal with that situation?
That's a good question. You know, as far as development goes, it's going to happen. Our city is going to grow. Growth doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a very good thing, because you're spreading out the cost of operating your city over a bigger base. Now, I would also agree that your costs are going to somewhat go up as the city continues to grow. But the biggest qualifier that I have is infrastructure. Can the infrastructure handle it? We rely a lot on FDOT data as far as trip counts and whether the development will be a plus or a minus to the taxing that it's going to put on the infrastructure. It's all about roads.
Ty, your turn now. There's been a lot of comments recently. I've gotten a lot of emails and all that the council last time had two people who were very fire intrinsic. They were very on board with making sure the fire department was taken care of. Now, whether that's true or not is up to each individual's interpretation. Now people are saying there's a lot of people in the construction and contracting industry that are running for council. Do you see that as a problem, or do you see that as a benefit, having contractors and people in the construction industry wanting to be on the council?
Thanks, Tom. I absolutely see it as a benefit. Your first question was about growth. That's something we're all concerned about. Why not bring people that are experts in growth and development in to help make those decisions? I'm sure Jay knows far more about banking than I do, but I would say that me and some of the other candidates know far more about growth and development than the other people running. I think the expertise that we bring is invaluable and is crucial to the biggest problem facing the city, is managing our growth. It's going to happen, like Jay said. We are going to have growth, but we need to manage it and be aware of how it affects our residents and how we can massage those issues to make sure it works for everybody, both the developers as well as the citizens of Ocala.
Rusty, you as a successful small businessman here in town, you know and understand how important small business is. If you were on council, what were some of the things that you would continue or do to make sure that Ocala kept a thriving small business area?
Well, one of the things the city is already doing, especially if you have a business downtown, they have a lot of funds that you can apply for to build the front of your buildings, your fascias, and the city will match that. So that's very good. Then we get outside the city, there's a couple corridors. Again, those people now don't get those benefits. I would definitely push for getting people to like start up, taxes maybe the first year, you know, the electric. I know we do electric and water and taxes are less on the west side, and that's a good thing because we got to build that area very, very strong. That's something that we tend to forget about, and I don't know if we talk too much about that, but the west side is so important. It's the entrance of Ocala. And there's all those businesses over there. Again, the city has been doing some great things. We just need to make it broader.
Thank you. Jay, time to get into the questions that are a little difficult. There recently was a situation that happened between city staff and lowers in the city staff where the city manager let somebody go, which was perfectly within the purview of the city manager, and the city lost their mind over it. The voters lost their mind over it, as it were. You were part of the situation where it was brought up in city council to vote yay or nay on the confidence for city manager. Is that something you see the council's job as to every decision the city manager makes to see if there's still a confidence in the city manager or not? Or is that something that you have to, because the city charter says that's their job, you have to let that go and deal with the things that you can deal with as a city councilman?
Yeah, that's a good question. City manager fired the former fire chief, Shane Alexander. There were a lot of people that got up and spoke at that council meeting, both for Shane Alexander and in defense of Sandra Wilson, our city manager's actions. I supported the city manager. It is within her purview. She didn't do anything outside of her purview. She could terminate his employment. His employment is at will. And I'll correct you, there wasn't a vote of confidence. It was an outright motion made in a second to fire her, terminate her contract.
Right, yeah.
That motion failed on a 3-2 vote, and I was one of the ones that voted not to terminate her contract. I think issues like that are few and far between, but if you got enough people that want council to have a discussion, then I wouldn't back away from the discussion.
Ty Schlichter, same question. Do you think that the way it was done, that's something that was well within her purview, and so city council doesn't need to involve themselves with that? Or is that something that city council should definitely get involved with?
I think it was within her purview. It's obviously listed as one of the things she's allowed to do. Should she have made the decision? I don't believe so. I think on such a high-level position, we should have discussions, and it shouldn't be a hasty decision. Everything I've heard about it, it seems to have been a very hasty decision, and we probably could have avoided the entire spectacle had council discussed it with the manager and we actually made an informed decision ahead of time, and maybe we didn't let it become a personal decision as opposed to what it was.
Rusty Jurgens, same question.
Yes, that's definitely an issue, and it's been over and over and over again on every forum we've been having. There is some problems going on with our staff that works for city council, and Sandra being one of them. She's in charge. I do believe over the years, from my conversations with even the electric groups, those that have left and those that have retired, it's been a very tiptoe kind of a situation for quite a few years, and I think it's just something that city council has overlooked. There's a lot going on. Could they have been more involved with their city employees? I think they could have, and not that I've been hearing some things that, we're going to come on there and become this hatchet club or something like that, and that's not the source at all. But we do have to open our eyes and take a look at our staff, the people that work for city council, and bring them together.
Jay Musley, there's been talk of we're the breeding ground for training, where we train police officers, we train fire department personnel, and then they move on. But now we're also training linemen then moving on, because we've had a mass exodus from the electric here recently. And if you talk to some of the people in that, they say morale is down. They say that their pension became a 401k, and that doesn't set well with them. They can go find better positions for better pay, working as contractors or for other companies. How do we address keeping Ocala's talent in Ocala?
Well, we're going to have to do that, and it's going to be a pay increase. We're going to have to look at the pay grades that are out there and adjust our pay grades accordingly. And there's going to be some big salary increases that some of these men and women are going to have that work on the lines. As far as the pension, we terminated the former plan to new employees, I believe, 7 years ago, and we now have a 401k. Just for everybody to know, that 401k puts in 8% into your 401k if you put in 5. So you got 13% going into your 401k. There's no private employer in Marion County that's putting 8% into a 401k. Also, the former pension was costing us, I believe at the time that we terminated, 88 cents on the dollar. So for every dollar in salary we paid an additional 88 cents. Tom, you can't run a business going that way. Everybody tells me we want you to run city council or run the city like a business. That's what we did.
Ty, morale is down. If you talk to people across the board, they say that, they don't feel like they're being heard at City Hall, that there's a disconnect. How do we keep talent in Ocala and keep morale up? If you're on the city council, what do you do to address that situation?
Well, I think he touched on it a little bit. Pay increases are coming. They have to be competitive with the private sector. I think the disappointing part is here that I think private industry business leaders would have seen quicker as we would have adjusted ahead of time as opposed to reacting before it's too late. We've already lost the linemen. We've already lost police officers. If you're running your business day to day, you don't wait until your good talent leaves to raise wages. You make sure you're having open discussions with them ahead of time so you don't lose them. That's where we failed.
Rusty, if you got the job of city council, how would you address the situation of low morale and we're the training ground for everybody else? How do we keep the best of Ocala in Ocala?
Well, that's always been an issue for me for the last 30-some years in my business, keeping morale up and not having a big exit that happens from time to time. And people usually come to find out that it wasn't the right choice. But the whole key is that we really need to make an open door so that they come in and they can be comfortable in talking to you without being worried about being fired or worried about being put in, on a list of you might get demoted. And there is that fear within the city. That's just something that's been overlooked by city council over the years. It just needs to be a very open door policy and let them know that we're there for them. We want to listen and we want to help.
Switch it up a little bit, go to Ty for the next question. This is a listener's question they sent in via email. You'll all three be asked the same question. It's a small business owner here in town that said, I live in the county, but I spend 16 to 18 hours a day running my business in the city of Ocala. I have to deal with the ordinances and the laws of the city of Ocala, yet I have no representation. Yes, I know I can go to city council and I can give you my address and talk, but I have no way of actually electing the people that make laws and ordinances that oversee my business. How can I be represented as a small business owner and live in the county? Is there a chance that we would ever look at small business owners that have businesses in the city being able to vote in the city?
That's for me, Tom?
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a predicament, but unfortunately, it's not something that we can address. That would be like saying that Amazon gets to vote in every single state in the country. It's not feasible. It can't be done. It's not legal. I would encourage them to come to City Hall. I would encourage them to donate to campaigns. I would encourage them to campaign for the candidate they feel best represents them. But unfortunately, it's a simple legal issue. It's not something that can be addressed.
Jay, same question.
Yeah, you vote where you live. And unfortunately, I understand the men's predicament, and these are very valid concerns. So I would encourage him to meet with members of council that'll meet with him, and we all should be willing to meet with him, especially if he's got running a business within the city limits. He should have our attention. If he wants to get involved and donate to a particular candidate on a campaign, that's other good advice, and also to come and address council during our council meetings. We do have open comments limited to 3 minutes, but there are times where if a particular situation comes up, that the person can ask for an additional time.
Rusty, same question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's definitely been something I have already spoken about in some of the forums I've been at. And over the last 15 years, that's something that I've been speaking that needs to be done. But it needs to be done through the charter. And that's what we have a city attorney for. And that'd be something that we'd have to work with him, how it can be changed. I believe it's really, really important. These people want to have a vote. A lot of these people own a lot of property in the city of Ocala, and they're very frustrated with that.
Last question. We'll start with you, Rusty, for the last question. This is also from a listener, so it'll be the same question for all three of you. The CEP gets some residual funding from the city and the county, yet they have private memberships that can go anywhere from $600 a month up to $25,000 for a year membership. Why should the CEP be receiving subsidies from the city or the county when they have private memberships and they raise money on their own? Rusty?
It's funny you say that, too. Since I've been the president of the Downtown Business Alliance, that's something that we've discussed a lot. Because over the years, the city would fund some of the events that we do or match some of the funds, and they would throw money into it. Right now, we're kind of on a backlog of that for some reason because Main Street has come in, and Main Street's doing a great job. The Downtown Business Alliance, we brought the Main Street back. So back with the CEP, they are doing well. They took over our farm market that Downtown Business Alliance put together. And of course, if you ask them, that they're just barely making it with that, but it looks like they're doing a great job. I don't know if they really need all the city funding. They are doing well.
Jay, same question.
Yeah, the CEP was created a few years ago by merging the old EDC and the old Chamber of Commerce. A lot of things they were doing was a duplicate. I think it's turned out to be a wonderful organization, and they brought a lot of good new business to Ocala, and with those good jobs. Right now, I would still consider to fund them to the extent we do, but I'm always willing to look at it and see at some point in time if that funding should stop. But they are a great engine for our economy within the city of Ocala.
Ty, same question.
Yeah, the CEP, just because they raise their own funds, and it doesn't mean they should be disconnected from city support. It's a partnership, and that's how we built it, and that's how I would like to see it stay. I think the very simple way to explain it is a rising tide lifts all ships. The CEP has done amazing things for a lot of businesses in Ocala, and everyone benefits from that. Therefore, they should benefit from city support.
Gentlemen, thank you for answering all the questions. Thank you for being candid in your answers. Now, Mr. Musley is the incumbent. I give you 1 minute to tell people why you would like them to vote for you.
Sure. Thank you, and to your listeners, I thank you for taking the time to listen today. I would like you to consider voting for me because I think experience counts. And the experience that I have with 25 years of service to the city between the code board and the current city council is invaluable. The experience I've had as been a banker for 43 years is also invaluable. And it's not just in banking, it's seeing the projects that have transformed our city and county and state and understanding those projects. The ability to use my banking experience to understand how growth impacts everybody. I would ask for you to vote for me on September 21st. Jay Musley.
Todd Schlichter, your minute starts now.
Thank you, Tom. I would say that I have the experience required. I'm not as old as some of my other opponents, but I have a vast array of experience in the private sector. I've worked as far away as the state of Virginia. I hold licenses throughout the entire southeastern part of the United States, working with different localities and municipalities in permitting and licensing activities. I run a company that has over 100 employees, which I think is larger than either of my two opponents deals with on a daily basis. So I would say I have the experience and fresh new insight and ideas that can help lead Ocala in the right direction. Please vote Ty Schlichter, 921.
Rusty, your minute starts now.
All right, thank you. Again, it's experience, and I've been doing this for the last 15 years with the city and working with some city boards and getting that experience from them, knowing how things work. My platform is SOS, Serious on Strength. We want to strengthen our city council as a whole and as a group. That's what makes a great board. I do believe we need a diverse board, otherwise it doesn't work correctly. So I'm looking to run again, and for seat number 3, city council, September 21st. Please vote for Rusty Jurgens.
Gentlemen, I want to thank all three of y'all for taking time out of your day to show up and candidly answer the questions that were asked of you. I personally wouldn't want anything to do with what y'all are running for, because I don't want anybody to come with a fine-tooth comb and pick apart my Facebook page. I'm just glad that the 80s and the 90s didn't have Facebook and Instagram. That's all I'm telling you. What y'all do, the fact that you put yourself out there for a job that, let's face it, doesn't pay well, but the advantages of seeing the city succeed far outweigh the money that you make doing the job. And I applaud all three of y'all for stepping out there and becoming part of the process. And good luck to all of y'all September 21st. Thanks for being here today.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
That is the incumbent Jay Musley, Ty Schlichter, and Rusty Juergens from District 3. Tomorrow, we'll have District 4 in the building. We will have the candidates for District 4. There's 137 of those, so I'm not going to name them all because I think 2 more people just entered the race while we were on the radio right now. So we'll have them in studio tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we'll have District 5. Greg Steen and former City Councilman Jim Hilty will be in that. And then Friday, we'll have the mayoral candidates, Manal Fakori and the incumbent Kent Gwynn will be in studio. So we look forward to your continued listenership while we do these candidate forums, and we want to thank all the candidates that participate because we know you're busy. It's in the middle of the day. You got work. City council is not your only job. You have actual jobs afterwards. So we want to thank everybody for taking their time out to be a part of this process. And remember, folks, if you don't vote September 21st, shut your mouth. If you don't take time to go vote, if you're so apathetic you can't show up to a voting booth, I don't want to hear you complain on a Tuesday night at public comment at City Hall because you didn't do anything to make the process work. You just sat on your laurels at the house eating macaroni and cheese with hot dogs in it, and then you come to complain afterwards. Either vote or keep your mouth shut. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.